What's up, guys? It's Lawrence from Maximum Freight, and today I just wanted to cover a topic that I saw on Reddit. And I'm just going to read you the question real quick. I see a lot of questions about starting a career and working in the logistics industry, and I'll probably be covering a little bit more about that as some of the questions cover different topics. But this particular question, I think, is a good one, and it ties into a lot of questions I've seen about how do I get into the logistics industry, and if I study, like what should I focus my studies in. So here's a question: is it worth going to college at 26 when I already work in my field? So this person has been working in logistics since they were 18. They've been doing various entry level stuff and playing working in different shipping roles for the last 4 years, and they actually seem like they're doing pretty well. They're already making 70K a year. I assume that's US, which in my opinion is pretty good. We get emails from different recruiters all the time that basically present to us different potential employees, and they list the salary. And right now, for someone who's entry level, even someone with like mid-range experiences, probably 55 to 65. So if this person's getting 70, they're, in my opinion, especially entry level, they're on the upper end of salary in the logistics field. So they say they feel nervous about continuing their career without a degree. They fear scattered knowledge in logistics won't transfer well into a specific role and might hinder their growth or management skills. And I guess they just kind of feel like if they miss out on a degree, it will hinder their future experience in the industry of logistics. This is my opinion, and as videos go on, you're probably going to discover something about me, which is I think, especially nowadays, a college education is kind of overrated. And I know that's going to be a very controversial opinion. And I just don't think it plays as much of a role today as it did, say, 10 years ago and 20 years ago, especially in logistics. And I'll kind of explain why. Um, Logistics is a very interesting industry. You can only get good at logistics and supply chain management, anything to do with this field, by actually doing it. Logistics is probably, in my opinion, one of the highest levels of problem solving. It's putting out fires all the time. When things go right, it's fairly straightforward. It's documentation and, you know, basic email communication, stuff like that. But it's everything kind of in between. And when things go awry, that you really have to think outside the box. Logistics is dealing with a number of different vendors, playing a number of different roles. You kind of have to talk to and handle every perspective of shipping from the origin to the destination. In general, and this will depend on your role, you are kind of the hub uh, for business, right? So the shipper, the consumer, the carriers, you are in the middle of all of that. And the only way you can really learn to balance all of that is by doing it. There's nothing that you can learn in school that can really teach you and prepare you to handle stuff like that. So, in my opinion, um, if this person asking me, like, is it going to hinder them if they don't get a degree? I don't think so. I think actually what this person is doing is amazing. Like, this is, like, I have 3 kids, and 2 of my sons are older. I would absolutely tell them, yeah, if you can get a job at 18 and work 4 years and get 70K after 4 years, I would tell them to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I would not tell them not to pursue a degree. I would not tell them that, college is a complete waste of time. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think that based on the way this person is framing their question, they feel like the degree is going to hinder their future growth. And they're not directly saying this, but maybe they're saying that their degree is going to further enhance them, and I don't know, maybe enlighten them and expand on their logistics knowledge. I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't think a college education would necessarily not add value to you working in the logistics field. I guess what I'm trying to say though is there's nothing you can read in a book or sit in a classroom and learn that's going to directly apply to your efficiency out on the real field. It will familiarize yourself with like maybe certain terms and maybe certain systems and certain like principles which could potentially give you a good foundation to work off of, but ultimately getting your hands dirty and working in the field, problem solving and being active in the field is ultimately what gets you more proficient in this field. That's just all there is to it. Now I'm going to give you a couple examples. I have two business partners in maximum freight. Um, and I myself and another one is we graduated college. I went to Rutgers. I graduated 2002, and I studied in business management. And I can tell you right now, there's nothing from business management that directly like maybe if I studied supply chain logistics or something, I mean maybe it would carry over. But I'll tell you, man, like some of the problems that we solve here, college is not going to teach you how to solve those things. And it changes every day. Like logistics is a field that every day there's a new problem, every day there's a new regulation or whatever. You kind of have to think on your feet. College just can't do that. It just can't it can't give you that skill. And I have some other colleagues that have started their own businesses in the freight industry, whether it's trucking, warehousing, whatever, and they don't have college degrees, and they do excellent. They're very, very good. They're very excellent at what they do, and they never went to college, right? Now, again, do I know people who did go to college and also start a career and start a business that related to the field and did well? Of course, but I think if I were to ask them like, hey, how much did your degree play in the success of your company in this field, in this industry? I don't think they would give too much credit to it. So if I was this person, I would say continue working, continue doing everything. I think the reason why this person is progressing so much is because they mentioned they're doing like various shipping roles and they've been a shipping coordinator, shipping specialist, they've been a buyer, a planner, which is pretty awesome. Like they're really getting experience in a lot of different fields. That's really what's going to build your foundation. The way that me and my partners got to the point where we could open up our own business is we worked in companies where our roles did everything from import, export, air, ocean, LCL, FCL, LTL, FTL. I mean, we did everything, project, cargo. We had to do the quoting, we had to do the sales to a degree, we had to do the invoicing, and we had to handle all the crisis management. And that's really what built the foundation for us to kind of go independent. So it really isn't tied too much to our education. Again, did the education hurt? Not necessarily, but is it directly applicable to a very fast-paced and fast-moving industry? Not exactly. So if I were to advise this person, I would say keep doing what you're doing, and I'd probably just like, if it wasn't too much of a hassle and it didn't impede on their schedule, I'd probably just go to school part-time and get a degree that way if they really feel it's something they want to accomplish and just kind of have. I think most people, like if we were to hire, I don't know if I would necessarily look at the person's degree. I would ask them like, what did you work on? What modes of transportation did you do? I would ask them very industry specific questions. Their educational background really wouldn't matter that much, but we're a smaller company and that's how we hire, right? So if you're a bigger company, if you want to work for like, I don't know, Kuehne+Nagel or UPS, FedEx, they probably have a little bit more emphasis on college education. But I think if you could demonstrate that you really knew the industry well and that you really had experience in specific fields and you knew like the language and you could really demonstrate to them that you have experience there, I think you can still get hired. That's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, bigger companies probably value education a little bit more, but the smaller mid-range companies, such as maximum freight, I don't really think we'd put that much emphasis. We really just want to see if you're able to do the job, think on your feet, and be willing to learn and adapt. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you want to learn a little bit more about freight forwarding, make sure to click on the videos in the frame here. Thanks.